The Cleveland Browns have 4 quarterbacks on their roster right now. Deshaun Watson has not played a meaningful game since 2022. Shedeur Sanders just finished his rookie year with the worst quarterback rating in Browns franchise history. Dillon Gabriel went 1-5 as a starter. And Cleveland still used a draft pick in 2026 on a 4th quarterback. This is not a rebuilding plan. This is one of the most embarrassing quarterback situations in the entire NFL. Let's go back to where this started. February 2022. Cleveland traded for Deshaun Watson and handed him a 5-year, $230 million contract, fully guaranteed on every dollar. No NFL contract had ever been built that way. To get him, the Browns sent 3 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick, and 2 players to Houston. One of the largest trades of draft capital for a single player in league history. Watson had just led the NFL with 4,823 passing yards and 33 touchdowns in the 2020 season. The Browns thought they were solving quarterback forever. They were not even close. Watson served an 11-game suspension in his first season following a league investigation into sexual misconduct allegations. 6 games in 2023 before a shoulder fracture ended his year early. Then in October 2024, he tore his Achilles. He spent all of 2025 on injured reserve, throwing 0 passes. 4 seasons in Cleveland, 19 total games. His career total QBR with the team is 33.1, the lowest among any qualified passer in the league. No matter how you measure it, the trade has been a complete failure. Going into 2026, Watson's cap hit was $80.7 million, the highest number in the entire NFL. Cutting him would dump $131 million in dead cap onto the Browns' books all at once. Trading him is off the table because his contract includes a no-trade clause that gives him full veto power over any deal. So the front office restructured his contract for the 4th time, converting most of his base salary into bonus money and getting the 2026 cap hit down to roughly $44.9 million. The money is not gone. When Watson is released after 2026, which is widely expected, the Browns will carry $86.2 million in dead money across 2027 and 2028. Denver paid $85 million in dead money on Russell Wilson after cutting him in 2024, and that was the worst such charge in NFL history. Cleveland is about to break that record. Jimmy Haslam has already admitted publicly that the Watson trade was a mistake, something NFL owners almost never say out loud. It does not matter. The numbers do not care about admissions. Now, Shedeur Sanders. His path to Cleveland tells you just as much about how sideways this has gone. Before the 2025 draft, Sanders was viewed as a potential top 5 pick. At Colorado, he completed 74% of his passes, threw 37 touchdowns, and won Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Most projections had him in the 1st round, possibly the top 3. Draft night turned into something strange. While Sanders was live streaming on his phone, a prank caller got hold of his private NFL-issued number and pretended to be a team executive telling him he would have to wait a little longer. The whole thing played out publicly. Rounds 1 through 4 came and went without his name. The Baltimore Ravens were set to take him at pick 141 until they found out he had no interest in sitting behind Lamar Jackson. Baltimore passed. 3 picks later, Cleveland grabbed him at 144, 5th round. Sanders watched the first 9 weeks of the season from the bench. He debuted in Week 11, got his first start in Week 12, and ran out the year as the starter. Final line: 1,400 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, a 56.6% completion rate, and a 68.1 passer rating. Of the 36 quarterbacks with at least 200 attempts in 2025, Sanders ranked dead last in completion percentage, passer rating, adjusted yards per attempt, and adjusted net yards per attempt, last in the NFL at every major passing number. His 18.8 QBR was also the worst single-season mark in Browns franchise history for any starter with at least 6 starts. And yet, he was added to the Pro Bowl roster as an injury replacement, becoming the first Browns quarterback to make it since Derek Anderson back in 2008. The selection got immediate pushback from around the league, and given those numbers, it was hard to defend. There were moments that showed something real. In Week 14 against Tennessee, Sanders threw for 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, and added a rushing score. He and Joe Burrow are the only two rookies in NFL history to combine 350 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing score in the same game. What made that game even stranger was what happened at the end of it. With Cleveland down 2 and a chance to tie, Stefanski pulled Sanders off the field for the 2-point attempt and ran a wildcat play that failed. The following day, Sanders was named the full-time starter. Weeks later, Stefanski was fired. The ability exists in Sanders. But 7 starts and the worst passer rating in the league are not enough to hand anyone a starting job. Monken knows that. Then there is Dillon Gabriel. 3rd-round pick, same 2025 draft class. Gabriel started multiple games last season and went 1-5. Entering his 2nd year, he has been largely passed on the depth chart by Sanders. The door is still open, but not by much. And then Taylen Green showed up. Cleveland drafted him at number 182 in the 2026 NFL Draft, a 6'5" quarterback out of Arkansas with a 4.36-second 40-yard dash, a 43.5-inch vertical, and a strong arm with real explosive upside. He is also unpolished, with throwing mechanics that raise questions and limited college starts on his resume. The Browns brought him in anyway. For the 2nd year in a row, the answer to a broken quarterback room was another draft pick. 4 quarterbacks. 1 job. Nobody is the obvious choice. Todd Monken came in as the new head coach after Stefanski was fired following that 5-12 finish. The very first question at his introductory press conference was about the quarterback situation. His answer, like any position on the team, that's still to be determined. Read that again. The head coach of an NFL team cannot tell you who his starting quarterback is going to be. Monken is a well-regarded offensive coach who ran the Georgia Bulldogs offense through back-to-back national championships before serving as offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. He knows the position. What he walked into is a different story altogether. Watson is coming off 2 Achilles surgeries in back-to-back seasons. Sanders led all starting quarterbacks in interception rate as a rookie. Gabriel went 1-5. Green has never played a professional snap. Monken has to choose one of these 4 and build an offense around them. Albert Breer put it plainly. The uncertainty at quarterback certainly holds this team back. The Browns improved the offensive line, added at receiver, and ran a draft that got strong marks from analysts. Every evaluation of this team still ends the same way. None of that progress matters enough without a quarterback. The franchise went 5-12 in 2025 and has won just 8 games over the last 2 seasons. Around the league, there is a growing belief that Cleveland is already looking past this year, positioning for the 2027 NFL Draft, which projects as one of the stronger quarterback classes in recent memory. If that is the real plan, 2026 is a bridge year, a holding pattern dressed up as a competition. Look at the rest of the AFC North. Baltimore has Lamar Jackson. Pittsburgh has its quarterback situation settled. Cincinnati has Joe Burrow. The Browns are the only team in the division still searching for their answer at the most important position in football. That gap is not small. Tony Grossi, a longtime Cleveland football analyst, said it plainly. Everything about this team, the external impression is based on the quarterback position. Add all the linemen and receivers you want. Hire the sharpest coaching staff available. If the quarterback does not hold up his end, none of it moves the needle in the win column. The franchise has used 42 different starting quarterbacks since returning to the NFL in 1999, 27 years. Not one has ever been called a franchise quarterback by anyone outside the organization. In 2026, 4 more names are getting added to that list. One contract signed in February 2022 is going to leave $86 million in dead money on the books after Watson is finally gone. Sanders did not prove he is the answer. Gabriel is an afterthought at this point. Green has never played a professional snap. Other teams around the league look at what Cleveland has done at the quarterback position and use it as a warning. 42 starters since 1999, and the right one still has not shown up. Monken has 4 options, and nobody inside the building or outside of it can tell you with confidence which one is going to be standing out there when the season opens.